I wanted to talk a little bit about all the YouTubers quitting right now, because it's a thing. There have been some really good response videos already that I will leave below. But there's one point that I wanted to make that I've been circling around a little bit in the last few weeks that I think is good, and I'd like to share because it's on my heart. And I don't know that there are very many YouTubers that will see it. I have a few friends that do the YouTubes, but I think it's just something that's important to take away from this situation for all of us. And we'll talk about that in a second, but I gotta buy Cooper some poop bags. I'm packing him up for the weekend, giving him to a friend, because I gotta go somewhere. He can't come with me. So, okay, we need to get you poop bags, buddy. I've been on YouTube now for a long time. I created my channel forever ago. I've been serious about YouTube for close to 8 years. It's in the middle of 2016. It's been my career, more or less. It's actually been my job for like 5.5 years. And I've gone through my share of changes. I've definitely burned out. I've had my highs, I've had my lows. While I'm not like a huge YouTuber, I wouldn't describe myself in that way. YouTube is really central to my life, and like the content creation game, being a video creator, it's what I do. It's what I've done forever. I've been making videos since I was a kid, and I'm living a dream. Which kind of brings us to the first of like 3 points. And the first is just recapping. If you haven't been paying attention or you don't really want to go watch the videos, then I'm going to link below. MKBHD did a really good video that just came out today. Ludwig did another really good video. There are definitely some themes that go through them that I think are really important to acknowledge. The first being that, it is a dream job. Like, working for myself has been my main goal. Like, I wouldn't say that I ever wanted to be a YouTuber. I never thought about that. I feel like I've stumbled into being a YouTuber more than anything. It certainly wasn't by design. Oh, I gotta fold this thing down. Do we take all the blankets out? All these people quitting the space has an immediate impact on, I think, a lot of us, but it's something that's really important to watch because nobody's asking for pity. If you watch these videos, well, I think probably some of them are, but as everyone keeps reciting, Tom Scott put it best when he said that even a dream job is still a job, and it comes with a lot. And Marquez in his video did a really good job as well of talking about how, unlike so many other jobs or comparable jobs that you could line up, being a YouTuber scales differently because you don't just get to be a creative. As you grow, as you build a team, as you try to make it something that's sustainable and will last for a long time, you end up invariably doing many, many jobs that are not what got you in it in the first place, which is creation, making videos. And I think that catches a lot of people off guard. One of the reasons that I enjoy the small career trajectory I'm on is because there's a part of me that's always wanted to figure out how to build and run a business, and it's something that does interest me as a person. But the vast majority of people that get into YouTube, I don't think it really does, and I think it ends up impeding what brought them to it in the first place a lot. So that's part of the reason you see that happening. The other thing is that most of these people aren't actually retiring. They're quitting the thing that you probably know them for, but they're all off doing podcasts and other YouTube channels and other stuff. They're trying to get back to what made it something that they enjoyed in the first place, which brings us to our second point. And also the point that so you might notice this is like an old sweater of mine. Hopefully it's comforting to him because it smells like me, and also it's just soft and it's nice to have extra blankets, huh, buddy? When it's so cold outside. I have a lot of thoughts on this. I could actually talk about the creator economy, running a business, being a video creator, all this stuff for way too long. You could put me on many podcasts worth of material on this just because it's something that interests me. It's obviously my livelihood. And even though like I said, I'm not a big YouTuber, most people would never even know that I exist. I've been able to do this full time for the last 5 years. So it's actually very fundamentally important to just me as an individual. But also I recognize that since most of you probably aren't making YouTube videos and maybe you have no interest in that, what do I think is more of a generalized takeaway? It's funny because, oh gosh, Cooper, oh fart, oh, hold on, I gotta go grab his food and some other stuff. This brings us back to the point that I was making a week ago or something. I made a video. The idea of knowing the game that you're playing. We're not playing with this, sorry Cooper. This is kind of gonna be a sea of disappointment for you here for a second. This is what's been coming up a lot in a lot of these videos is like, how do you give people advice that wanna get into this, if you're going to do this, or anything in life beyond YouTube and just generally, would be to know the game that you're playing. The instance here would be like, if you're getting into it for the views, for the fame, for notoriety, that is a race to the bottom. You can chase that dragon, but that dragon is one that you can never hold on to and one that will always get away from you. The algorithm is gonna change, what's in vogue is gonna change, everything that is popular, that is trending, you're always gonna be chasing something that never stands still, and that's okay if that's what you're into, but as soon as you stop chasing it, you're just gonna completely fall out of the race. To me, that doesn't sound like a very satisfying way to live. It actually sounds kind of terrible It's one of the reasons that I've never gotten into short form video content. I introduced you to Ariana yesterday, the woman that's helping doing the editing for the short form video content that we put out as far as TikTok and Reels and all of that. It's stuff that I was never interested in personally for a couple of reasons. One is that it's a very different medium, right? Like I was already making a video every day when TikTok came out, widescreen, the landscape format, short form vertical, going to those videos that you're swiping through. One, it's a different medium entirely, and it's something that I think requires some respect. If you want to do it well, you got to do it well. So that's one part of it. The other part is that the way that these apps are created, not only is it short form content, but they're looking for short, immediate wins. And you see that the way that they're built. You just swipe through. You're not staying to interact. You're not getting invested in the creators that you're consuming. And you might see people rise to success very quickly, but that also means you can fall from that very quickly. It's a very interesting game, and it's one that I probably could have engaged with and played in a way that would have worked for me, but at the time it really didn't interest me. And the more that it's gone on, all the short form stuff, we're doing that more from like a business perspective than a creative perspective, which goes back to the initial comment about how like doing this kind of stuff ends up becoming both. You have to be creative and business minded. And the more that I would like to angle my time and my energy towards the creative side, the more that we have to make some business decisions that make sense and we can hand those off to somebody else, or the more we just have to cut that stuff out and say, you know what, those are opportunities we're gonna let slide because they don't align with the lifestyle and the way that I would like to just carry on. Oh, I need poop bags. That's what I forgot. What all does the dog need? He needs to eat and poop and play and sleep. One of the stories that gets passed around a lot, or like news articles or whatever it is those studies that go around that ask kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? And everyone likes to quote that at the top of that list now is YouTubers, and kids used to want to be astronauts and they used to want to be doctors. It may be true. Maybe people really wanted to be YouTubers or content creators. Maybe now they want to be TikTokers. Yes, I am putting the overflow food in a poop bag. Please don't judge me. I don't have any Ziploc bags left. A lot of the reason that people want to pursue whatever career is in vogue at the time is because it gets a lot of attention. It'll make you famous. It's just what we pursue. We're wired for that. We're wired for attention, for validation, and for the most part, we look to the people that society admires and we want to pursue that. And so, of course, if you're on your phone all the time and you see content creators all the time, you're going to think, yeah, they're getting all the attention. I want that. Let's go for it. Like I said, that's going to be a quick rise and also probably a quick fall. And in reality, a long-term stable career takes a lot of time. Like if you want to find yourself in a place where, like when I burned out really hard, quit daily vlogging, ended up wandering through the woods forever to figure out who am I, what am I doing? If it hadn't been for my patrons, like Norma, my patron producer for today, if it hadn't been for my amazing patrons that stuck with me, and if it hadn't been for that, building that relationship over years and having them invested in wherever I was gonna go and wanting to be a part of that, that could have been the end. That could have been it. Could have been over. It took years and a lot of work, like 1,200 videos to get there. And I have no idea how much longer and farther I've got to go to get to a place where everything feels like truly stable for my entire team and gets me to where I feel like I want to be. And we'll talk about that here soon because I have actually thought that through and my goals are not that outrageous. But quick rises lead to quick falls, and long, steady slogs through a lot of struggle teach you a lot more and hopefully end up landing you in the place you want to be. So if I'm going to give any advice, it would be, I guess, just get ready for a long, patient, rough ride. And it'll be worth it. You'll learn a lot from it. If we can just stop comparing ourselves to others, there's a good chance that our longevity will go up. We'll enjoy doing what we're doing for longer, and who knows where that'll take us. It's funny because when we travel, it requires this huge bag that he could live in. And the only reason I travel with a bag this size is for my running shoes, because those happen to just be unfortunately large. So here's how I'm operating on this front and how I think that I'm gonna make it for at least a mid to long-term run on YouTube. 8 years in, I think I made it for a lot longer. And honestly, it's partially because I just love making videos and sharing my life. There are definitely gonna be highs and lows, and I'm not always gonna enjoy every element of this, but like I've learned a lot, and I'm homing in more and more on spending more of my time on the parts that I really do like. So what I would say, beyond always make sure you pack one extra pair of underwear because you have no idea what's gonna happen. No stories there, just never know. Go your own way. Create for the joy of creating. Whatever it is that lights you up, pursue that and stay dedicated to the joy. Like, this is a long game. Life may be short, but life's also long. So as we create, because I think we're all creative just as a species, and that's why I think this actually applies to all of us. Remaining dedicated to what it is that you love and pursuing that to its end, focusing on it for its own sake and for the joy that it brings you is huge, because This is my big struggle with the word content and where we're at with the instrumentation of the internet. And if you're not familiar with that term, you should definitely, I'll put a link to at least one of the early articles about it below because it's amazing. But the antidote to it ultimately is slowing down and focusing on the things that actually bring you joy. Because ultimately what makes art so valuable, and this is what I just wrote about in my book club today, is the transformative nature of it. Like the way that it affects you as you're making it and the effects that it has on other people as they engage with it, as they see it, they watch it, they listen to it, whatever. In the end, I guess for longevity and for having what I hope to be a fulfilling life, what I'm doing is definitely trying to create what brings me joy and remaining dedicated to that. Second part would be to pursue what lights me up, whatever brings me curiosity, whatever brings me joy, brings me energy, to stick with that. Even if it's not in vogue, even if it's not the cool thing, who cares? Pursuing that cool thing is gonna lead me farther away from myself. It's gonna lead me farther away from doing, being, creating as I am and as I would like to be, the best version of myself. And the last thing would be to look at what I'm consuming from the standpoint of what am I supporting? How am I basically voting with my dollars and my attention in this attention economy? Because that's what I ultimately am going to see more of. Both because algorithms are gonna shove it down my face, but also shove it down my face. If we don't support the creators that we love, they're gonna probably give up and go home. They're more likely to, or they just might not be able to afford to continue doing what they've been doing. Get out there, make stuff. I don't think that it's a bad idea too late. There's so much opportunity and so many fun things to do out there, but I think that what we can learn from YouTubers quitting in mass right now, and there will always be waves of people quitting or retiring or moving on to other things or whatever, is a reminder that we need to remain mindful of what we're doing, how we're creating it, how we're consuming it, and ourselves, like to take good care of ourselves as best we can. And maybe it's inevitable. Maybe, you know, as we pursue the things that we love, there are always going to be traps and pitfalls along the way. And a lot of times we're not going to learn without falling into them ourselves. And that's fine. I really love a lot of these creators that are heading into retirement. And my hope is obviously that they find great success in whatever it is they step into next, that they're happier and healthier for having made this move, and that it is the right move. And I guess my hope for all of us is that we can still slow down and remember that ultimately what we get into this for, I think most of us, is to feel connected to others, to better understand ourselves. And ultimately that's what creates art, is the transformation in ourselves and in those that engage with what we make. And that takes time, and it's messy. And unfortunately, we live in a world that doesn't give us a lot of time and doesn't permit a lot of mess. So I don't know how we navigate it necessarily, but slowly and stubbornly, and we'll just keep moving into the future, I guess.